Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kurt, and welcome to episode 281 of Farlands or Bust. Woo! Oh, voice crackage. But here we are in our poorly constructed hidey hole from the end of the last episode. If we break out, hi Wolfie. We remember from the last episode. Etho's derpy face in the sand. Oh, good times. Good time. Oh, hello. How are you? Oh, dear. There's an influx of creepers. General Spaz-Eye. Let's grab Wolfie. But yeah, the Etho face. Much fun was had with the Etho face. I obviously was not going for realism. I was just somewhat intrigued by the fact that there appeared to be what appeared to be a slightly naturally looking Etho face. Obviously, it looks a little bit different. I saw on Twitter and elsewhere, I'm not sure where the original post came from, but somebody created an actual Minecraft skin with Ethos having this type of face, and it's really just weird and derpy. But I'm gonna leave it like this. It will forever be remembered. Maybe I should. Hold on. I have to make a sign. I'm not sure what the future holds for the overviewer map of Farlands or Bust on the website, but in the previous and current iterations, signs are able to be picked out, and landmarks can be properly identified based on the signage that is placed near them. So let me do that. I don't think there's much use in the boat because that water just ends right there. But let me get up here somehow and mark Etho's head. I think that's what I called it. I don't want to ruin its wonderful sculpture, so let's just Etho's head. That was episode 280, and that was August 9th, 2013. And a squiggly line for no reason. Boop. Yeah, August 9th. Okay, that's right. All right, let's continue on. Oh, check it out. Signs are entities and not part of the terrain. Look at how the sign doesn't jitter, but the terrain does. Floating point precision. Or not so precision in this case, but yeah, anyway. Sorry, a little bit of a slow start here. But today, excuse me, is Monday, August 12th, 2013. Like I said, this is episode 281 of Farlands or Bust. We are continuing to walk west to the Farlands, raising money for Child's Play charity along the way. And right now, in Season 4, we are at $41,440 raised so far for Child's Play charity, just this season alone. I do appreciate it. The donations are coming in quite steadily, and it makes me very satisfied and happy. You're helping out Child's Play charity, as I mentioned. Where's Wolfie? Wolfie? Yep, there he is. Oh, yeah. Hold on, I need to kill this pig, and then I will respawn next to you. There we go. Do you want this pig too while you're at it? Just careful of the cactus. Whoa! Whoa! Some weird glitchiness. Some weird frame rate drops. I think I deleted a bunch of stuff off my Fraps drive, but I should probably defragment it. Usually fragmenting files while recording leads to that sort of stuff, because I don't think anything really significant as far as the game itself. Did that chicken just disappear? The game itself leads to those little glitches other than just the recording of Fraps. But anyway, continuing to the Farlands, like I said, I appreciate all the donations. Do that at farlandsorbust.com. I think I hit all my points. I do want to make a quick read off a quick message I got from one of the donators. You can leave a. Wow, I'm getting a lot of jitteriness. Oh, I do have. Hold on. I think that should be all right. I had Chrome open. I know Chrome tends to, if you leave it open, tends to resource hog If you just leave it open, even if you don't have that many tabs open, it will pretend like there are a bunch of tabs open, and etc., etc. But anyway, like I said, we are raising money for Child's Play charity, and with your donations, you can leave a comment. I asked for a lot of questions there. I have gotten a lot of questions lately, so I have a backlog of questions to answer. But one of just a nice note I got from an anonymous donator. They said, I recently finished a student rotation at a very small children's hospital ward in a very small hospital here in Australia. I saw some of the indirect benefits of Child's Play, where a large, dedicated children's hospital had passed on some older toys and games thanks to receiving donations through Child's Play charity. Having a chance to sit down and play some Tony Hawk Pro Skater with a 12-year-old boy who was in his 7th week in the hospital brought home what you are doing, or brought home what you are helping to achieve here. And indeed, one of many, what's the word I'm looking for? I always forget the word. I keep wanting to say tutorial. Testimonials! One of the many testimonials that you can find similarly at childsplaycharity.org. And thank you very much, person who sent in their donation, and also that very nice message. It's often nice. I'm not saying that I forget, but it's often a nice reminder to even myself why I am continuing this never-ending journey to the far lands. Good grief. And for the community, and for Child's Play charity, and for the children, and stuff like that. I do appreciate it. Good times indeed. Speaking of for other people and things, yes, I am aware, and honestly, I'm hoping that this situation resolves itself by even the time that this episode goes up, so I'm not going to delve too much into detail. But our good friend Milby from the Mindcrack server, and also a guest on the last flob-athon, very funny guy, recently has had some issues with YouTube. His YouTube account, he has over 100,000 subscribers. He has a partnership through TGS/Polaris. His YouTube account got shut down. Bam! No warning. No 3 strikes. Just got shut down. And it is a very scary reminder that even those folks who may think they have security with, say, a network or something, you know, are kind of at the whims of this really crazy system of which we know nothing what goes on behind the curtain. And I always say myself, I'm very happy with what I'm doing. I feel very lucky, and I am aware that if it were to just stop tomorrow, certainly I would fight for it, just like Milby is fighting right now. So go support Milby. He does a lot of live streams on Twitch TV. So while his YouTube account is no more at the moment, he has been, oh, let's not go that way, that's a bunch of lava. He's been live streaming some, so go support him on his live streams on Twitch TV. But yeah, like I've always said, I feel very lucky. It's a privilege, and I know it is not a very secure thing to be doing. But I want to keep doing it as long as I can, and it is often those. You know, a lot of people say, oh, they're jealous, or you get to play video games for a living and make videos and stuff. It's often the most, what's the word I'm looking for? The most exciting jobs, the most fun, the jobs that I suppose receive a lot of outside jealousy and envy, I suppose. Those ones are also the most volatile, and the ones you really have to keep an eye on, and that could just disappear any second. You know, like an astronaut. That's pretty dang volatile in exchange for the amazing opportunity to be in outer space. You kind of have to accept the fact that your life is also on the line constantly as well. Among other things, you know, rewarding things like working for charities or like Peace Corps or stuff like this, going into areas which may or may not be friendly to you environmentally or socially. Many different things. I could go on with a list, but those jobs that seem the most exciting and rewarding and thrilling are often come with a little bit of fine print, I guess you could say, but like I said, Milby has a lot of people on his side here, and we're hoping to help to get him back up and running. And if anything, it'll be a lesson about YouTube, and perhaps these questions about why this very dedicated video maker, full-time video maker with over 100,000 subs, never, is clearly not a deliberate, person doing harm to YouTube or the infrastructure or putting up bad content deliberately or anything like that. How a person like that could suddenly, just without warning or any ability to appeal or even any discussion, just has the entire channel suspended and shut down with no more than an email indicating so. Might be, this isn't the first time this has happened either. Yogscast got shut down. Obviously, they have millions of subscribers and make YouTube millions of dollars, so they have a pretty quick resolution. But just the fact that it happens, it might be time, definitely is time to look. Careful, Wolfie, what was that all about? To look at the way YouTube runs things here. But anyway, I just wanted to mention that really quick. Go support Milby. I'll give his Twitter and his Twitch links in my video description. But let's go to sleep. We're gonna get killed here. And a colorful rainbow sheepmanness. That's Milby, for those of you who don't know. Who might be, what the heck is Kurt talking about? Milby is the sheepman. The multicolored sheepman. But let's continue on. I will try that. Careful, Wolfie, careful, Wolfie, careful, Wolfie. Whoa, that was close, man. That was close. But anyway, let's continue on with Farlands Bust. If you notice, you might notice, I hope not, but you might notice that maybe my voice sounds a little bit weird. Nothing too drastic has changed as far as my recording setup, but as part of the package I received to set up my... I did get my network attached... network attack storage. I'll just call it that from now on. My network attack storage thing in, so now I have backups running again to a 6 terabyte thingy in my living room. I'm taking over my whole unit here, and it's turning into like some sort of cyborg storage computing setup. I've got that set up, but along with that, I also picked up from the same place a little addition to my audio recording setup. Those of you who might know, and if you want to know what my setup is, you can go to farlandsbust.com. It's in the About, in the frequently asked questions. The microphone I use is a Rode Procaster. It's a XLR microphone, so I do have a XLR USB converter audio interface thingamabob. But I was never able to, and it was something that bothered me, I'm never able to, what's the word I'm looking for? But monitor. I've never been able to monitor my own voice through the microphone because the system, most all systems I ever looked at that are XLR to USB, they don't allow you to monitor your own voice and listen to the computer sounds at the same time. And if they do, they don't allow you to record them both at the same time because then it's confusing and disorienting. I won't go into it. But anyway, I picked up a little secondary box, a dedicated monitor and headphone amplifier, and a headphone apple pie, headphone amplifier. So now, in a further jumble of chords and mess, I now have the audio out cable coming from my computer, going into this headphone amplifier slash microphone monitor box, and now my headphones are plugged into that instead of my computer, and now I have my microphone directly plugged into that, and then another XLR cord coming out of that and going into my XLR to USB interface, and there's 2 little knobs that I can listen to and adjust the sound coming from my computer, and also the sound coming from my microphone. So I'm actually able to hear the sound coming out of my voice, and I can know when I'm really close to the microphone and when I'm really far away if I can't hear myself. So it might be, I don't know, it might be subconsciously changing how I'm talking. It doesn't look like it in the waveform. If anything, I hope it's better, because that means I'll now be able to know when I'm being too quiet or too loud, to be able to adjust that without afterwards being like, oh man, I totally destroyed the speakers here, or peaked out the audio levels here, and have problems afterwards. You may notice that sometimes in older videos when I'm still trying to dial in the audio recording, but hopefully it's for the good. And it kind of reminds me, B00 was saying he recently switched from his iPod headphones, which were breaking, to an over-the-ear headphone thing. And he's saying how it's hard for him because now he can't hear his voice. And I did notice in the last few building with B00s that his voice sounds a little bit different. I'm not sure, you know, it's probably a subconscious thing. It's like, oh no, I can't hear my voice. I must speak louder, or, you know, something like that. So I don't know. Hopefully this is for the better. This is how the professionals do it. The professionals on the radio and voice acting and things always are able to monitor their own voices. So hopefully this is a good thing. It's something I've wanted for a long time, and I finally found. It's a cheap little, what is it? I think it's like 20 bucks. The Behringer Micromon MA400 Ultra Compact Monitor Headphone Amplifier. I was also looking for a headphone amplifier because I have these AKGs, which have another long item number behind them, but they've been fine. They don't require necessarily headphone amplification, but they do have a little bit more of a sensitive, what's the spec that kind of makes you think that they kind of require some additional power. Is it impedance? I think it's impedance. The impedance is high or low or whatever it is that would require an amp, and this serves as that purpose. And I am noting some a little bit more rich dynamics, some more pronounced lowers, and cleaner uppers in the headphones. I'm not really that much of an audiophile, but looking at all these cables and a string of plugs and things all around and underneath my desk would certainly make you think I am. But anyway, just wanted to give that update. A little bit of an update to the Farlands bus recording setup here. But let's continue on. I said, like, many episodes in a row here that I have a scrolling list on my notepad program of all these questions you guys have been asking me through the charity website, donator thingamabob, but also in comments and Twitter and YouTube and stuff like that. So I've got them all figured out here, and this first one is actually probably going to take a while to talk about. Hold on, let me get some wood. I'm noting I'm running out of some planks, and I require such things for making boats and beds and other necessities along the way for Farlands bust. Oop. Maybe I should chop down another tree. Yes, I know, Wolfie. We are chopping down trees. Excuse me, good sir. Always replant your trees. It's Arbor Day. I guess we can take a zebra tree here. Oh, that was a fail. Let's do this. Bop, 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 bop. All right, let me answer a question from a donator. Bop, 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 bop. Woof. Donator did not leave their name. Again, leave your name if you want to. You can be anonymous, but by default, all the donations come through anonymously unless you set up an account through the Child's Play charity widget. So if you want me to know your username or something, leave it in the comment field. But from an anonymous donator, have you seen any new movies recently? I just watched Two Guns. Besides using a lot of buddy cop, shoot 'em up action movie cliches, it was quite good. I indeed saw a few movies recently, and I will tell them about you thusly. I recently saw, these are not ones that are really wide release or available very widely. The first one I saw, it's actually on Amazon. It's an independent movie. It's also in the theaters, but you can also get it on Amazon as a rental, I guess. It is called The Europa Report. Very cool, independent, small budget sci-fi movie that really captures realistic space travel. The story behind it is there's a commercial company, you know, much like spaceflight is becoming far more in the eyes of commercial ventures, sends astronauts to go study Europa, the moon of Jupiter, which is known and estimated to have a very large subsurface underneath a very thick ice sheet, salty ocean. And on the surface and all the cracks, there's all this kind of strangely colored brown residue and kind of dust that could be an indication of some sort of life byproduct. Very, single cellular life and things like that. This is reality. This is real science we're talking about here. So in the near-ish future, this movie sends these astronauts on this journey, and it's kind of set up documentary style, almost like you see a lot of documentaries where from NASA, like talking about certain missions. You have the people back at NASA with the kind of fancy backdrops, and they're in their suit and ties giving their testimony or their account of what happened, and then they have flight footage from inside the cabins, different cameras and things like that. Very good. Not too many spoilers I want to give out, but it's a thriller, I would say, but it's a very good film, and it's one of those that really leads up to a very satisfying ending and conclusion. Very satisfying indeed. So I would very much recommend, if it's still, I'm not sure how long it will be available on Amazon. It's like one of these watch it while it's still in theaters thing. But I would check it out on Amazon. It might be elsewhere as well. I think it was just $9 to rent, which honestly in my area is cheaper than seeing a first run movie in the actual theaters. Very much recommend the Europa Report. It's raining trees, everybody. But let's go to sleep here, and I will talk about the second film, which I might have a little bit more... Dang it. I might have a little bit more to talk about, because it relates to upcoming events, and if you guys don't mind, I might get a little bit activisty on you here. I know I don't do that often, but let's go to sleep. Let's get all our energy back, and then we'll get all angry about things in the morning. And documentaryness. Indeed. The next film I wanted to talk about is, I did see, it's in a very limited, you have to probably go to like an art theater or an independent theater or something like that. It's a documentary. Like an actual documentary, not a fake sci-fi documentary like the Europa Report. But this one is called Blackfish, and it is about, in particular, one incident, but in general about the industry of the orca whales in captivity, the killer whales as they're more, I suppose, commonly called, and mostly in captivity to the SeaWorld parks. Very good. I would recommend, if it's playing anywhere in your area and you can find it, to go see it. I'm assuming it might eventually be available on like your Netflixes, like a lot of documentaries are. I feel like it's something that should play on like PBS Frontline or something like that. Very good, very sad and quite troubling thing. But anyway, it's kind of apt. Because I wasn't sure. I know where Minecon 2013 is being held in Orlando. A few blocks away is SeaWorld Orlando. And I had never really thought too much about it up until seeing this. But I will not be going to SeaWorld anywhere. More particularly, I will not be going to SeaWorld in Orlando during Minecon. And I will not be, I'm not one to tell you guys what to do. If you really wanted to go to SeaWorld and you still want to, that's fine. But I would recommend you not, for the purpose of not wanting to support that organization. And perhaps maybe I would recommend you try to catch this documentary before you consider, or which might help you reconsider. But anyway, Blackfish is more specifically about Tilikum, which is the largest orca in captivity. It's a male, and it is at SeaWorld Orlando, and about its history, and most recently an incident on February 24th, 2010, when it killed a trainer. I mean, that's kind of, it's a very blunt way to put it, but the whale killed and actually ate the trainer. Dawn Brancho, I believe is how you say it. She's like one of the most experienced trainer, the senior trainer there. So it's not for lack of being familiar with the orcas and things like that. Even though in the documentary they go on to talk to a lot of past trainers, and I know myself before watching this, I always thought that the trainers, the animal trainers at these SeaWorld type places, had to have like a lot of experience or schooling. Perhaps even in marine biology, they had to have experience in order to deal with these animals and things, but not at all, really. The way they choose these animal trainers is based on, you know, their physical ability, their physical appearance. You know, a lot of them are swimmers or scuba divers and things like that. And they're no more knowledgeable about these animals than, you know, you or I. They don't have professional schooling or science or anything behind them. They're pretty much, they're performers. They're theater performers. You know, they jump around with the whales and do flips and swim on top of the whales or whatever. So that is, first of all, very concerning. But anyway, this Tilikum whale has had a history and has been involved in the deaths of 3 people. Over its years, when it was first caught in the wild in 1983, and it just the documentary goes on to detail how the training isn't all that great. How these whales, obviously they're used to being out in the ocean where they swim hundreds and hundreds of miles per day. And then they're suddenly penned up in these little shallow pools, and they're made to do tricks. It's very sad, and I'm not too much. I like animals, and I'm not a vegetarian or anything like that. But I'm not, there's a little bit of a line when you're talking about a whale they have very acute social intelligence and abilities, and even talk about the incidents against humans. They often fight with each other in the pens because these are whales that have been taken from different pods throughout the world, and they don't even speak the same language. It's been figured out that these whales in different pods speak completely different languages, so it's like being penned up in a bathtub with somebody who doesn't even speak your language. You can't communicate with this person. It's hard. So anyway, it's a good documentary. I'd really recommend it. And like I said, I'm not going to be going to SeaWorld, but basically, it boils down to SeaWorld using these animals for profit. They were sued after that recent death in 2010 by OSHA. Not anybody on behalf of the whales are suing them. It's OSHA, the people who look out for workers in safe working conditions, because people are dying around these things. And OSHA won that lawsuit. So now the courts have said that SeaWorld cannot have the trainers in the water with the animals. There must be separated by a physical barrier. And they've also fined them like $75,000, which is a drop in the whale pool compared to, I think, I looked up, in 2006, SeaWorld Entertainment's total revenue was $1.17 billion. So there's that, and of course, SeaWorld is appealing that ruling, and it's a very, very shocking documentary. I've been watching a lot of these documentaries that tend to make me angry. I've been watching a lot about the fall of the economy and the traders and things like that, and the laws they get passed, and blah 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 blah. Anyway, so angry today, so angry. And Milby having his YouTube shut down without any help from anybody. What the heck? Everybody get angry. Let's flip some tables. Table flipping episode. But anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to get really down there, but it's a very, I would recommend trying to see Blackfish. It's a very good documentary, and my personal opinion would be to recommend, if you are going to Orlando for Minecon 2013, would be not to give money to SeaWorld and maybe take a second trip out to Kennedy Space Center or see an actual. I think there are actually some zoos out there. I know out on the coast there are tours that kind of do in the preserved areas tours. Of course, I should research these to see if they're really kind to the environment and things like that. But tours of the what are those big things in the water? Manatees. Manatee tours and alligator tours and things like that. Just as long as they're like humane and they don't disturb the animals, I suppose. But that would be a far better way to spend your money, to see animals in the wild, free and whatnot, as opposed to gigantic creatures of the ocean stuck in a little pen. But anyway, let me look for kind of a more uplifting question to answer. Let's see. Here we go, from Bergasms, who donated again. He's donating every time Brian, Lorgon111, dies in his series and donates. Bergasms asked, if you are in need of a question, here's one. I forgot to take that out. Are you fond of riddles, word games, or math games? Brian really likes puzzles, as do I. If yes, do you have any favorite riddles or math puzzles? And not really. Not being one that was very good at math. As I mentioned 10 or so episodes ago, I had to be held back into the pre-college math when I first went into college, just so I could get the remedials, my what's the word I'm looking for? Prerequisites up so I could actually take the college level math. So there was that. Wolfie? Yep, you're all right. So no, I mean, I don't know what you would consider a math puzzle, like the Sudoku stuff or things like that. I'm not that much into the word searches or fill in the blank things. I'm just a boring individual. I don't know. I kind of like just the crazy quantum physics thought paradox problems and things like that. Not anything that I could figure out or that have even been figured out, but I like learning about those things, or like the episode of the original Cosmos where Carl Sagan was playing with the Drake equation. I don't think that's really a math puzzle as it is an equation, a theorem, a scientific thing. You know, if this, that, you know, multiply the number of stars, divide that by however many percentage of them are might have planets, which we are, even since they first recorded Cosmos, we've found to be much more and more abundant among all the stars around us. And then how many could have spawned life, and then of those, how many could have spawned intelligent life that would be capable of radio communications to contact humans here on the planet and within so much radii of the Earth, where those radio communications would have had time to travel. You know, that stuff is fun for me, but not really deliberate puzzles per se. So I don't have many hobbies, I'm finding out. But anyway, maybe that's why I'm so bored on airplanes, is because I don't have any sort of puzzles to be doing or completing. But anyway, yeah, thanks again, Bergasms, for continuing to live by your matching. I believe he's half matching Brian's donations to Child's Play charity for his series. I do appreciate it. And of course, everybody else, like I said, maybe instead of going off on tangents, I should think of the next episode as one to just get through a bunch of questions. Answer, because they are starting to pile up, and I'm getting a little bit worried. But that means we're raising a lot more money along the way for Child's Play charity, because we're getting more donations and more questions with those over at farlandsbus.com, right? The little donation widget that's on the homepage, and like I opened with, the donator said how much Child's Play charity helps out in his experience working at a children's ward of a hospital. We are doing good things indeed, and that's what keeps me going to the far lands, no matter how jittery or far off the box selection gets, or nauseating or glitchy this far lands or bust world gets, rather. We will continue on. Right, Wolfie? Right! He knew exactly what I was saying. So, until the next time, my name is Kurt. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you next time.